Chieftain Dark Horse. This was actually a request of a viewer / subscriber. So we are going to ride this bike. So we got a touch screen here, instrumentation, cruise control standard, ABS standard. I did not know about these little speakers on the system.
Okay, right button here, tap, cycle through the system, be sure everything's okay. The bike's in neutral. Here's your run kill switch.
Oh wow.
Okay. Now what kind of bike you ride now? You probably told me, but I forgot.
Fat Bob.
You want torque? You want performance?
Sure.
You got it now.
Nice. So we got horn, lights, brights, blinkers both here on the left. Got your music and your select toggle here with your hands so that you don't have to have your hands up on here on the screen. Lots of digital here. The lighting on this bike are all LEDs. I'm guessing LED front headlight, LED tail light, LED turn signals, mirrors. It's got a good view out of here. Whoever was riding was about the same size as me, I'm thinking. Lock. I wonder if this is like a security system here. Oh, so we've got the windshield, which is power. How about that? That is really cool. Well, we're going to put it down for this test ride. Just so that's as far as it goes. Just so we can get a better view for you all. But I'm flat-footing this bike here at stop. Oh, here we go. Oh, killed it. Done that before. Gotta catch up now. Ah. And we got a little bit of buffeting here with the wind. Just getting used to this bike. Just because it's so much different than mine. I apologize to the riders behind me because now we're all lagging behind. But that's okay. We're into it now and all is good. So we're going to try to put this windshield up just because of that buffeting that I felt very early on in the ride. You know, you get on a new bike, forget something like the kickstand, something that seems to be like it should be kind of obvious, but whatever. Woo! So we're in sport mode, and this bike has a ton of power. See, now I feel like this we're gonna put this down because I'm getting the buffeting anyway. So we get the screen down. It's harder to see the road. But this seat is plush. This ride is plush. And we have a ton of power here in this 111 cubic inch air-cooled V-twin engine. And these floorboards are a trip because I'm not used to them. The controls are still far forward here for the feet. But because the floorboards come so far back, you know, so you can be in a more comfortable position. This bike weighs about 130 pounds, I think 127 pounds wet. And, you know, I wouldn't say it's top heavy, but you can definitely feel that weight on this bike. You know, I rode the Street Glide, and, you know, I'm slowing down here. This bike has good balance, even though it does feel a little bit top heavy when you stop here. You know, I'm not worried about dropping it. They've got fuel range here, your gear and your miles here, and we could probably toggle through that somehow. How are we going to toggle through that? I don't really want to mess with the buttons right now. But we got a 31-degree lean angle, and when we rode this bike here on my left, the Scout Bobber first, and that had a 29. I scraped a peg one time, but it still leans pretty well, especially for a bike that was so low to the ground. But this bike here, I can flat foot, and we just jumped right into this ride. It was probably another reason why I forgot the kickstand, but no worries. Easy to find the ground here. You know, I've ridden with the floorboards before, and it was just an awkward thing. But for me, you know, you put your feet out and you're good. Like I said, I can just about flat foot this bike. It feels a little awkward to flat foot it, so I'm just gonna stay on my toes. But yeah, keyless ignition, or excuse me, keyless start. The ignition's over here on the right. And we've got all these options here. We got Bluetooth audio. You've got a USB port that you can plug your devices in if you need power or if you wanted to sync it up here to the system. Weather radio, AM, FM, and satellite radio. No? So I'm 5'6". My shoe size is a 10.5, and my inseam is about 30 inches. I've got to reach just a little bit forward for the shifter peg. So if you're a shorter guy, just know there's a little bit of a reach there. And I'm wondering if there's some vents here that I can open up to reduce this wind buffeting. It's not going to be a problem on this test ride. Should I let this guy in? Let's get ahead of him. ABS, ooh, that's nice. So ABS necessary, when necessary, to stop this 820 plus pound bike. Feels really good. Not spongy, just like the previous experience on the Scout Bobber. It's very nice. So we've got this bike, nope, I'm not turning here, in sport mode, and exhaust, man, that thing is throaty. That's nice. There's a lot of, the light vibration in the hands and in the feet, it's kind of a different feel. It's more so, I think, than on the Street Glide that I rode on the demo ride. Ooh, that exhaust is nice though. I mean, you look at all the options that you have on this bike here. You know, you can add like $4,500 in options, but standard wise, you get a lot of stuff. Well, I'm just looking at the stuff here on the sticker. Remote locking saddlebag. So one of the cool things I think that this bike has, it's called rear cylinder something. What it does is when you're at a stoplight, right, like this, it turns off the rear cylinder, and supposedly that's to save a little bit on gas. I think that's really cool. That's a technology that's available on this model. It's available in the Chief Dark Horse. I don't know what other models it's available on, but that comes standard on this bike, and I don't know, that's a thoughtful thing to do and a really technologically savvy thing to do, if you ask me. So let me turn up the sound here. Wow, that sounds really good. I don't want to turn the radio on for too long because I don't want to get a copyright check on my channel. But I mean, all this stuff, very intuitive. I've got a gloved hand here and it has no problem reading it. Let's put it back in standard mode. We're gonna try standard mode and we're gonna see how different that feels, because sport mode is very torquey. You know, right when you accelerate, you get a lot of torque, and that's some people like to ride that way, and especially if you're riding spiritedly. If you're riding you know, you're racing from here to there, you're gonna want that sport mode, and it's a very fun thing, I can tell. But we're gonna try standard here because we're kind of stoplight to stoplight, and I kind of want to see how that feels. You got the black with all of this chrome. It's a very classic cruiser look on this bike. On a very long footboards, those are comfortable. I'm wondering if you can get the heel shifter and on the left here. This bike comes with engine guards. I don't know if that's a standard thing either. But we got the dual disc in front on the 130 front tire and 180 in the back, with the single disc in back on 16-inch wheels. So big tires, and what that tells me, really, when you've got smaller wheels and bigger tires, is we're talking about, you know, you're going to be riding on a lot more tire than you are wheel. So to me, that would translate into a more comfortable ride. Should have put it in neutral. I've been waiting here for a while. More time for me to talk. Oh yeah, so considerable difference here in standard mode from sport mode. Very see, Leaned over on that sharp turn a little bit. So yeah, there's a considerable difference between standard mode and sport mode. You know, I've ridden sport bikes that have the modes like that, and when you switch from mode to mode, you can't always tell a big difference between the two. But this definitely, you can definitely tell a difference between modes on this bike. Riding a bike in sport mode and standard mode on a sport bike, for me at least, I think I did it on the FZ09. You couldn't tell a whole lot, but for this bike, whew, yeah, when you're in sport mode, you get all that torque at once, and that's nice. So maybe we'll switch it back to sport mode. There's a stretch here where we don't have a lot of stoplights, so I think we'll switch it back here to sport mode, and we'll see what we get. Yeah, there's 5.0 doing some good work. Okay, we're gonna go to sport mode, and there's tour mode. I wonder if tour mode gets the most out of your gas mileage, because I know you're going to be on the highway. That is a good question. But yeah, really plush seat here. There's a backrest. I don't know if that comes standard or not on this bike. I'm guessing it probably doesn't. The passenger seat looks really comfy. I'm just reaching back here. Oh yeah. Actually, it feels more padded than the seat I'm on right now. So, congratulations to your passenger. So you can turn the screen off there. I don't know, to save power on that. Kind of nice little Indian image there on the screen. So we're back in sport mode. Yeah, I mean, you could feel that torque, and you can hear it there too, for sure, on the exhaust. But yeah, for a short guy, you know, this bike might look like a lot when you're just looking at it from the outside. But getting on this bike and riding it, it's not a lot to handle. I would not, I mean, in standard mode, I would say this would be fine if you're just getting into the touring segment and you're looking for a comfortable bike. So far, so good on the Chieftain Dark Horse. But yeah, and that exhaust, I mean, I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but this might be the loudest exhaust I've ever ridden with. And I'm kind of looking for a button here for a vent on this fairing, because when we get here and at speed, it's shaking my noodle. We got the green. All right, we're going to take this at a little bit higher speed and see how we do on this turn, on the sharper turn. Oh yeah, that's nice. So I'm just getting used to the reach forward for the shifter peg. You know, it's not a difficult thing to do, but because the floorboards come back so far, and I can have my feet like almost like I'm at a mid control here. When I've got to reach for the shift or the brake here on the right, there's some potholes there. Kind of wanted to hit them just to see what happened, but it's all right. But like I was saying, if I had to reach for the brake really quickly, of the rear brake, you know, my foot misses the brake, and that could be a little scary, I think, in a quick stop situation. I mean, obviously you've got the dual discs in front, and that's going to give most of the power in your braking, but yeah, if I could do a side-by-side comparison, it would be nice on this one and the Street Glide, which is the bike that I would say is probably a similar comparison. We're not gonna run this one. That's a little drastic. It's just those two up there. A little sharper turn here. Woo, buddy! Woo! Yeah! Yeah, so this bike is confident in that turn. I like sport mode. Only in third gear. Yeah, this bike gets on it. And you know, I wouldn't say it's more sporty than the Street Glide, but in sport mode, maybe this bike is more sporty than the Street Glide. Okay, so I had to stop a little bit fast there, and you know, my reflexes kicked in, and my natural instinct to go for the brake here on the right. Talking about the foot brake for the rear, I didn't miss it at all. So it's just kind of like when I'm at a casual stop and I reach for the brake, I kind of miss it, but reflexes kick in and instinct kicks in saying you need to stop. So no worries there. But just a point of emphasis I might make on the braking if you're a shorter rider, especially, because if you're a taller rider, you know, I don't think, especially you got bigger feet too, probably won't make as big a difference as it would to a guy like me. All right, so definitely I can, if you're riding your tour in the canyons or in the foothills or in you know, mountain roads where you're winding and twisting, kick that baby into sport mode and you will have a lot more fun. I think around town, standard mode would be great. And again, if you're you know, you're out touring, pop that baby into tour mode. Again, we're not going to do any kind of riding like that right now, so I couldn't tell you. What, you know, let's do it anyway. Let's just see what happens. Oh, it's an even more tame mode than standard. But again, if you're a guy who doesn't, I wouldn't say is intimidated by, you know, the torquiness very in the low end when you're taking off. Or maybe you just don't like that feel when you're riding. Like I said, pop that baby into standard mode. But if you wanna get on it, let's see if we can do this while we're riding. So let me do it while I was riding. Yeah, I think it actually worked. So you can do this. You don't have to be stopped to change modes. I probably wouldn't recommend it because, you know, you're taking your eyes off the road to do that. It's just like meddling with your cell phone while you're riding. But it is a possibility, just in case you're wondering. Now I kind of wish, and let's see what happens when I press this button. Well, that just changes the view. Oh, we got navigation up here on the screen. That's pretty awesome. Very clear too, and bright. I mean, the sun is I would say almost right above us right now. So that might have an effect on how bright it looks. If the sun was right behind us, it might not. Yeah, what else do we got here? There's another different view. Okay, so that's what I was curious about. I wanted to see that on this main display if I could get my RPM and if I could get my speed. And you can. And I'm going to leave it here because, frankly, I haven't really been looking at because this display is so dominant here in the center, I haven't really been looking at either two of these. So we're going to keep that display up right in front of me. And that's really cool. I mean, that's like real-time RPM right there. Yeah, this is a great display right here. And a lot of options. And still on the display you have your direction, which is southwest. You have the temperature and the time. I mean, this is a great display. No doubt. I mean, you've got speakers up here in the front and also speakers on your saddlebags. But this is a fun bike. You know, I was talking about when I rode the Street Glide that if I was to get a touring bike, that I would definitely consider the Street Glide. But this bike with all the tech I think technology-wise, this bike is ahead of the curve, and I would definitely put it above the Street Glide. I haven't ridden the 2019, so they might have made some changes to the 2018. But as far as, you know, integrating technology into a motorcycle, this Chieftain Dark Horse hits it out of the park, in my opinion. And that exhaust, man, I think this exhaust sounds nicer stock. You know, obviously guys can swap out their exhaust for something else, but just stock on this bike, I mean, it's plenty loud. It's plenty loud and it's beefy. All right, so I think we're coming to the end here of this ride, this demo ride. But I got nothing but good things to say about this bike. Lots of great integrated technology. I mean, you've got a power windshield. I mean, that's cool all on its own. You've got the rear cylinder cancellation, or the technology where it turns off to save you gas mileage at stoplight to stoplight, I think. But I will definitely throw up in the description a link so that you can check out all the specs on this bike. If there was something that I didn't talk about that you wanted to find out, click on over to Indian's website so you can check out all of the specs on this bike if you're interested in that. There's probably additional features that I didn't talk about, so you can read about that. And if you have any questions about the ride, about something I didn't talk about, leave it in the comments. Like I said, throttle response is dependent on what ride mode you're in. And really, this was just a learning curve. I was talking about reaching for the brake and the shifter peg, because now I'm totally comfortable with it. I haven't missed it in a while, so that's not something I would worry about. It's just a learning curve. I would probably just go around on, you know, on country roads, stuff where it's not real busy, to get used to the bike if you're gonna buy it. But the clutch, you know, the clutch isn't as heavy or as tight as I remember the touring models and the Harley Davidsons being. So that's something else to consider. You know, in a lot of traffic where you're gonna have to be pulling in the clutch a lot. It's not bad at all. If we can hit another stoplight, I can tell you about where to expect. You'll need to, friction zone wise, the clutch. But it's fairly late in the shift, or in the clutch pull. But yeah, these floorboards are really comfortable. And we're getting into stoplight to stoplight again, so I'm gonna pop this thing right back into standard mode, just because I can. And again, I'll just show you how easy it is. I mean, I don't know if this is something you can do here with your hands, so you don't have to take your hands off the controls. Yeah, standard mode's just nice. So yeah, the clutch lets out right about in the middle to late. Yeah, this is the end of the ride coming up here. But guys, if you are interested in a sporty touring bike, I can't do anything but to recommend this bike to you. So definitely keep that in mind. Oh man, the cops are out in force this morning. Definitely consider the Indian Chieftain. This is the 2019 model. I'll pop up on the screen where this bike starts at. But again, like I said, there's a lot of features that this bike comes with standard. And styling wise, I really like the look of this bike. You know, I'm not a big... my bike has a lot of chrome on it. This bike has a lot of chrome on it. But I'm trying to get away from that. But if you like chrome and you like black, this is the gloss black. This bike looks really nice. And this bike has a very premium feel too to it. You know, this isn't to say that the Street Glide didn't have a premium feel to it, but I mean, this bike just feels like an expensive bike. But again, stoplight to stoplight standard mode's perfect. This is kind of a cool sculpture here. But we are coming to the end of this test ride. Guys, the 2019 Indian Chieftain, give it a test ride. Give this bike a shot. If you're a Harley guy, still, give this bike a shot. Really, they don't make poorly made bikes anymore, really, by any company, I don't think so. Give it a shot. But hey guys, I appreciate you watching. You know what to do. Like and subscribe. Guys, it's been fun. This is that one guy asking you to ride safe and have fun. But I am out.